The biggest shift in how designers work is not happening inside design tools. It's happening in how the work itself is structured. For years, building anything required a chain of people. One person would write the requirements, another would design, someone else would build, someone else would present it, and so on. That's how design teams were formed. But if you look closely, that system wasn't efficient, it was just necessary. Because no single person could humanly take an idea from zero to execution completely on their own. And that's exactly what is changing right now with AI. We are moving into a phase where one person can actually handle the entire flow, not perfectly yet, but well enough to not depend on a full team for every step. Where you can go from an idea to a working product, generate the interface, build the logic behind it, and even turn it into a deck or a proper document, all without breaking flow or switching tools. Which means companies are not going to think about hiring designers the same way anymore. You understand, right? This is a mindset shift that is gradually happening. In fact, it's happening quite fast. And if you're a designer today, the shift is either going to put you ahead or make you irrelevant. So let's break down what's actually changing here. Earlier, design work used to move from one person to another for a reason. Each part of the process needed real depth to do it well. Wireframing, visual design, front-end understanding, back-end coordination, and presenting the work were all very different skills. The real challenge was that it was rare for one single person to have deep expertise across all of these areas at the same time, at a level strong enough to do each of them professionally. And even when someone came close to it, it was still difficult for one person to have the time, energy, and mental bandwidth to handle every step one after another or at all once. So the work naturally got split across different people. Which is why the process became full of handoffs, dependencies, and constant translation between functions. What is changing now is that this old constraint is starting to disappear. Earlier, work had to move from one person to another because no single person could realistically do everything with enough depth. But AI is beginning to change that. If you've watched my videos, you've probably heard me saying that AI is lowering the floor and raising the ceiling. What I mean by lowering the floor is this. Even if you have only basic knowledge in something, AI can help you fill the gaps and become good enough, fast enough to do it professionally. In other words, the entry point to doing professional level work is becoming much more accessible. And when that happens, one person can design, code, iterate, and present with the same flow. The process stops like being in separate stages and starts becoming like far more continuous. That is the real shift. It is not just what workflows are changing, teams themselves are getting compressed into individuals. So instead of companies always needing one team made up of many specialists, they will increasingly value individuals who can work across different roles, almost like self-contained teams by themselves. And because of that, ownership is also shifting from shared execution to much stronger individual responsibility. What this also means is that companies will slowly stop prioritizing pure designers or pure developers in isolation. They will increasingly look for people who can think like a designer and execute like a builder. The ideal profile would sit somewhere at the intersection of design, product thinking, and basic technical execution. And the people who benefit the most from this shift will be the designers who already have strong fundamentals, good taste, and clarity of thinking. Earlier, many of them were blocked simply because they did not know how to code or did not have the access to the right tools to bring their ideas to life. Now that gap is starting to close. The new expectation is not that you alone need deep expertise in every single thing, but you, with your AI partner, should have enough depth to direct, operate, and move across domains with confidence. And partners or tools like Replit Agent are a glimpse of where this is going. You can now describe a product and have the UI, logic, and structure come together at the same time. You can change design and code at the same place without constantly switching tools. You can work on multiple parts of the build in parallel instead of doing everything step by step. You can generate variations, test ideas, and refine them almost instantly. And because of that, specialists who only execute one narrow part without understanding the larger context may slowly start losing relevance over time. Coding and execution are becoming far more accessible, which means simply knowing how code works is slowly becoming less of a differentiator on their own. As that happens, the real value is shifting from just execution to decision making and judgment. What matters more now is not simply producing individual assets, but being able to build complete products. The time it takes to go from an idea to something real is reducing drastically, and because of that, many of the traditional steps like handoffs, documentation, and coordination are starting to shrink. Iteration cycles are also becoming much faster, which means people can experiment more, test more, and learn more quickly. One of the clearest examples of this right now is Replit Agent 4. It brings design development and iteration into a single workflow, and it lets you go from idea to execution without constantly breaking your flow. So in the next part, I want to show this action because the walkthrough, there will be a proof of everything we have discussed so far. All right, let's build something. I have a small problem statement and it is very close to my heart because this is one of the problem statements we used to give as a takeaway exercise for people interviewing at Swiggy. Today, I'll try to build at least a small part of that using AI. So the problem statement is build a landing page and a pitch deck for 1 cup, 1 master, an invite-only coffee pop-up event in Indiranagar, Bangalore on 30th May 2026, where a renowned Italian barista, that's a coffee brewer, prepares 5 signature recipes live for 50 hand-picked guests. The landing page is a guest-facing with a request and invite, that is a registration form, and what to expect in the event, the details of the events essentially. And the pitch deck is a barista-facing, that is a guy who's coming from Italy. He will be using this tech to pitch his idea to sponsors and to figure out a venue so that they know that he can present what he wants to do with it, right? So it is about sponsorship and all of that. So one is a consumer facing, that is the 50 people who will attend. And the second one is a business facing, that is people who will sponsor this event, seeing the potential in it. So that's why I'm going to make this AI do the work. Okay, so let's go and see. That's a basic brief, but a prompt is only good as the details that you feed in it, right? So I'm going to convert this brief, this problem statement into a prompt. I've already done that. I'll just tell you what I have been thinking. I want this to be a luxury premium feel because this guy is flying all the way from Italy for just 50 people. So it's an exclusive event. It's not like a basic your Starbucks coffee or something. It's exclusive. So it needs to feel luxury, like a hospitality brand, and not like a tech startup. So there's some other things that I want to feed into this prompt, which is I want it to be dark. I want it to have a more matured feel. And regarding the colors, I want to use colors like brown, espresso coffee tones, cream whites, and a touch of matte gold to bring that luxury feeling. And of course, I'll use serif typography. I don't have to tell you, you know that already. So I want to use that. And this is like a place where there will be abundance of empty spaces because that's what luxury stands for. There's a lot of empty space around. So those are the things that I have in my mind. That is the direction that I'm doing in my head. And I will try to make it an instruction and write a prompt. Of course, I've used AI and a couple of other stuff to structure my thoughts and write it. And finally, that's what we are going to feed. Okay, and the moment you feed, the Replit tool starts like any other whiteboarding tool that you might have come up with. There's a box where you can write your prompt and then you can pick what kind of thing you want. In this case, I need a website and I'm going to paste my prompt here. And they also have something called plan. Plan is essentially one step before you get out there. So in my case, I've already prepared the prompt, right? In case you haven't prepared and you're just dropping your idea like you're brainstorming, just like the way I was speaking a while back, you could put those things directly here and ask Replit to plan. It will do the job of planning and write a structured prompt for you. Essentially, it's like it does one step, which I have already done. You could do that. I will still use plan and just go ahead and hit this enter. So it's going to send this prompt. And now it is going to plan the thing. It is processing everything that you have written and it's going to come up with something and it'll tell that, hey, this is what I understand from your prompt and this is what I think I will do. And then you can go and say, okay, build it. And now it'll build. All right, this is what it made after a while. It took around a couple of minutes. It did a lot of things on the left side. In fact, you see a lot of things are already happening, even though it is showing me the preview, which by the way, looks very nice and clean. And this has come from a single prompt that we have written. I have not given it up any subsequent prompts on it, and it is still working. So what it is doing is, in parallel, while it is showing me, that is the instructor, the preview of how the website would be, it is also working in the background. It's figuring out, if the spacing, if the fonts and all these things are fine. And it is also testing out all the functionalities. Like you see, it is already saying that it is trying to fill in the form. That is a request and invite form by filling in the name, email ID and all of that. And it is requesting and seeing, is it working as expected? So, previously what a human would do sitting in front of a vibe coding tool and they say that, hey, this part is not right, fix it, or that part is wrong, correct it, and all of that. Now the agent is doing it on your behalf. So even the agent knows that AI can make mistakes. And so it is correcting itself and doing all these tests itself. Like even though I see the preview here, it is running a lot of things in the left-hand side out here. It is finding errors, it is fixing them on the spot. And it is doing all of these while the preview is still here. So you see at this point of time, what you see on the screen, this is a designer and a developer working together in parallel, not one after another. And I think that's a beautiful part. The UI logic and structure, everything is getting built at the same time. And of course, you can go and make changes out here. So these were the colors that I had asked it to use, the shade of brown, the shade of, cream, white that you see out here, and this golden yellow. If you don't like it, you can just write another prompt and go change it to something else. Or the initial prompt that you were writing, you could define some of those colors in that itself. But I think this is carrying the vibes that I want, although I would want to make some changes to the sections, which I'm not going to do right away because you know how it is done, because this is just a demonstration, so I don't want to get out there. But what I like it got the fundamentals right. It's a private event, that's the name of the event, and it mentions in one line what it is about, right? And it shows the important details, that is the time and the location, along with the primary call to action. When you start scrolling, you will see the request and invite button is sticky at the top, which is like a basic UX thing, because this is the thing, the reason why you have made this website is so that people can request for an invite. So it makes a lot of sense to have this button present all the time in front of the user when they're scrolling through. So yeah, it has got all the fundamentals right that way. So this section is about the maestro, who's the barista itself, who's coming from Italy, and what to expect, and these are the details of the event. I'm not a big fan of this section though. The text feels a little misaligned, but I will let it pass because I quite like the rest of the things. And this invite form that you see, it is fully functional. I can go and type my name, email ID, phone number, and I can request an invite. And if I publish this website, it has its backend running as well, because that's what the testing and everything is going on, right? Where do the responses go? How can you retrieve all of them? It is testing all of these as we are speaking out there. All right, this looks pretty good. Now let's go ahead and do one more thing, which is to go and make that deck that we were talking about. Now, although the event is the same thing, but the deck is for a completely different kind of audience. It's the same event, but this one is for business people, the investors and all of them who would be interested in the event and fund their money or give their venue so that they can get something in return. So the thing had to be different. Now, even for that, I have written a detailed prompt. And for now, I've taken the content of the website and I have asked it to convert it into a way so that it is relevant for someone who would invest on it. And there I paste it and I go ahead and click plan and I hit enter. And again, it works for a while. Just in the same way, it'll show me what it is planning. And after it is done with the planning, all I need to do is just click on this button which says go ahead and build, and it is going to build it. I'll speed this section a bit because it might take a few minutes. And here we are, we have our deck ready. The first thing that I see is this deck is beautifully done. I think I like the layout, the typography and everything in this deck more than the website itself. Even the website was also good, but this deck is beautifully done. The choice of fonts, the way the layouts are put, I think it's wonderful. Even though it's a business presentation, it's a boring presentation, but the vibes are still retained. And you see the difference. The website had much more images and all of that. This one has a lot of text and numbers, but the way the text and numbers are shown is beautiful. I can just go and click on this present mode and you will see this is great. And imagine all of these things happen with just a single prompt. It talks about how many tasting sessions, countries and all of that. Of course, these are just placeholders. You could go and change them. And it talks about the numbers, just like the way they are in a business presentation. The numbers stands out loud with a heading and some description because it's a business presentation at the end of the day. Also talks about what are the 5 moments, one evening, what the event is going to be about, and who are you targeting? Design leaders, startup founders, restaurateurs, collectors or curators, right? These are the different kinds of people who will be in this room. Exactly the kind of thinking we expect people to do when a human is working on a project like this, because you need to first know who will want to be a part of one of the 50 people to taste coffee made by some guy who has flown all the way from Italy. It's not the regular one who just need their daily dose of coffee. These are the people who are looking for something different. So yes, it has done that analysis. And we need a space for it. So it's essentially requesting, isn't it? And associate your brand with a room that matters, right? You can be the title sponsor, experience partner, or a community support and everything. It has even quoted some money, although I haven't mentioned anything about the money it has done. But of course, you could go and change it. The number may not be 8 lakhs for you. It could be 12 lakhs or something else. But overall, it is a great starting point. It's more than a starting point. I would say it is more than half is done. All that I would want to do if I was really organizing something like this is just go change the data, go change some of the numbers and the names, and it is good to go. And even in this, when you further zoom out, you will see that it is still tweaking some of these things. Like, even though it's not a website, but it is still debugging it, looking for, some of these consistencies, whether everything looks clean on a palette or not, the dark props are standing out or not, is it pure black and all of that. It has done all these analysis for this deck also. Does a human think that much for a deck? I haven't seen a lot of humans doing that. Of course, designers are a separate breed, but this is a business presentation. I can't keep repeating it. Now you see, right, while we created this deck in another tab, the website is still getting tested by the agent. So if I look at the whole thing together, a designer is designing and a developer is, modifying some of these things in the website, which is already going on. A business person and perhaps a product manager are strategizing on the content of this deck and also modifying and fine-tuning all this deck that is happening. So it's like a whole lot of people working together. Just that there aren't humans, they're all agents who are working for you, and the only human in this process is me, who have just given the instructions, and once the results come, I'll probably go and modify it. One continuous workflow, no handoffs, no duplication of efforts, and no loss in translation. What you saw is the point. This is exactly why I keep saying the shift is already here. Earlier, taking an idea from zero to something real needed multiple people, multiple tools, multiple handoffs, and a lot of waiting. Now, more and more of that can happen in one continuous flow, and that changes everything. This is why teams are getting compressed. Not because collaboration will disappear, but because a lot of the work that earlier needed separate specialists can now be done by one person with the right judgment, taste, and AI support. And if that is changing, hiring will change too. Companies will increasingly look for people who can think across design, product execution, and communication, people who can connect the dots, make decisions, and move ideas forward. And did you see the level of visual design it was able to produce? And this was from a fairly simple prompt with the agent iterating on its own. If it can already do this today, imagine where this will be 6 months from now. It could easily be 10 times better. And we have seen this pattern before. Remember that AI-generated Will Smith eating spaghetti video? The first version looked absurd, but just 6 months later, the quality jump was mind-blowing. That is the pace at which these systems are evolving. And that is why designers need to evolve. Because the value lies in understanding the problem, knowing what to build, and using judgment to turn an idea into complete outcome. Execution is getting easier. Judgment is becoming more valuable. And this is not about Replit alone. This is the direction the industry is moving in. The old workflow was built around limitations. The new workflow is built around outcomes. So the real question is not whether this shift is coming. It is whether you are evolving fast enough with it. Think about it.